there was one day when we were doing some ball handling, and I wanted him to do 2 ball handling. And he was like, man, get out of here. I'm not doing that. He was like, I don't dribble with 2 balls in the game. What is this for? And he challenged me. He was like, man, I'm not doing it. I said, Cole, this is really good. Man, I don't want to hear it. You want me to work on my left hand? I'll work on my left hand. You want me to work? And he was adamant. He was like, we don't play the game with 2 balls. I'm not dribbling with 2 basketballs.
Podcast P fam, welcome back to another episode of Podcast P, a Wave Sports and Entertainment original presented to you by Prize Picks. It's your boy PG8, and I'm joined by my guys Jackie Long, Vale, and Dallas Rutherford. Hey, and today, like we always do, we got another banger, another special guest coming to the show. Someone who has worked with some of the biggest names in the game, Phil Handy. Phil, what's up, baby?
What's up, P? I appreciate man. I appreciate the invite to be on here with you fellas, man. You one of the special ones too, even though we only got in the gym a couple times, but you one of the special ones too, brother. Appreciate it. Yeah, I definitely need some more of that in my bag, man. Just the opportunity to work with you. That one, the time specifically I remember was down at LMU working with Kawhi, and walking away from it, it took my training to another level because, you know, that was like kind of my first times being in the gym in that setting with Kawhi, and to see how he worked on moves. I ain't gonna lie, I get in the gym and I'm imagining. Like my creativity comes into effect, right? Yeah. Kawhi is opposite. He's more of a repetition, counter off of that, do that couple reps and then counter after that. Like I kind of just let my mind go. I create, someone's guarding me and I play off of that. And so that was a eye-opening moment for me to kind of get that kind of training where it was like precise. It was, it was real methodical. And that went a long ways with me. So I appreciate you on that opportunity of getting me together with those guys. Man, Pete, that was a long time coming, man. I'm only sorry we didn't have more time to really dive into that. But I don't use the word savant for a lot of people. But the way that you approach the game, P, is like you said, your imagination. You and Kyrie are very similar to me. In the sense of the way you train. Kyrie is the same way, man. Like his imagination is unbelievable. And I think a lot of players, they can't train in that method of being able to visualize multiple defenders or what they're going to do. So, man, look, I'm looking forward to the next opportunity, man. We have a chance to get in the gym, man, and continue to strengthen our minds on this game.
Yes, sir. We got to connect. We here now. We got to connect because I definitely need some more of that work, man.
Man, we can make that happen anytime, bro. I took a year off for a reason. So I'm a free man, a free agent, and I'm enjoying my downtime, man. So you get back right whenever you need me to get to Philly, man. I'm a phone call away.
Sounds good.
We wanted to take a brief break from the episode to let you know that Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 5 million members across the country, it is the most fun and exciting way to get in on all the action while you watch your favorite sports and players.
I'm excited for this weekend, Jackie, because it's fantasy football playoffs. And again, I'm going with my boy. Anything that includes Bijan Robinson, I'm taking the more.
I would pick what team, but we ain't going to the playoffs. So with that said, I guess I can just do a Prize Picks like you and go from there.
If you were going to take somebody, Jackie, all you got to do is pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. So sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed.
So if you think Justin Jefferson will continue to get more targets, Prize Picks has you covered on every option.
So guys, go download the app today and use our promo code PodcastP to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. So you can finish the football season by downloading the app today and using our code PodcastP to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. You were talking about how P and Kyrie, you don't like to use that savant word, just with their ball handling, their creativity. And we actually talked about it and we laughed about it, but not too long ago, Big Perk, Kendrick Perkins, posted a video of him dribbling like what it looked like he was just in the front yard working on his handle. I want to know what the story was behind that. Like, did you actually challenge him? And also, like, it wasn't that bad. Like, did you think he did well? Like, were you trying to set him up? I want some backstory on that.
Hey, D, Dallas, man, listen, that was during COVID, right? When the pandemic first hit, man, everybody was just distraught. And so I started doing these ball handling challenges on Instagram. And I would just challenge people to, hey, send me your handles, like post a handle just to get people out of the house, right? Because I had this thing of during the pandemic, anywhere, anytime. You could grab a basketball, go in your garage, get in the living room. Like, I was trying to inspire kids to just not sit at home and be in the house. And we did this dribble campaign. And I had Monty Williams. He did one. Head coach Lloyd Pierce. He did one. I had people from around the NBA. So Big Perk was like, shoot, I'm gonna jump in on the festivity too. And listen, when Perk sent me his video, I fell out, man. I was dying. I was like, yeah, Big Perk, get into your bag. Get into your bag. And look, I was like, Perk did his little handle, bro. And I was like, okay, Perk, I see you. I see you, man.
I thought the in and out cross looked legit. The in and out cross and the sham guy was legit. The tween behind the back, he could have left that one out. The tween behind the back. But the in and out cross was solid.
Do you think it took him more than one take, P? Yeah, for sure, right? You think that was one and done?
I was locked into him. I didn't see much sweat. So that mean it was quick. That mean it was quick.
Oh, man.
He wasn't too sweaty.
He looked like his sciatica was kicking in. It looked like... Oh, that was
funny.
Y'all get off Big Perk, man. Big Perk. I gave Big Perk an A+ for effort, man.
Nah, I loved it. Shout out Perk, man. That was dope.
Oh, man.
You're now a coach of Unrivaled, a team in the Unrivaled League. And I want to shed light to WNBA, the women's side of sports. Talk to us a little bit about that. What you're doing over there, the team, how did that come about?
Man, P, actually, like I dove into the women's game maybe about 6 or 7 years ago. Slowly, just started training some young ladies. Obviously, Kobe was a big part of that. My relationship with him after he retired and being able to spend some time with him and Gigi and his young team of young ladies that he had. I kind of saw where Kobe's mind was, in the sense of he didn't really treat the ladies like they were ladies. He treated them like they were athletes, first and foremost. So I remember the first training session that I went down to work with his Mamba team. He called me and said, listen here, man, when you come to the gym, don't hold back. I want you to coach them the same way you coach us. Do not treat these young ladies like they're girls. They're athletes and they need to be pushed just like we were pushing. So his mindset was just like, they're hoopers. They hoop and they play the game just like we do as men. So that really kind of opened up the floodgates to that. I don't know if you remember, P, you came to that event that me and Kobe did, the Mamba Invitational.
Mm-hmm.
What we started with that event was the spinoff for it was we were going to do a Mamba Invitational for the women's, for the WNBA. And then, obviously, rest in peace. He's no longer with us. But after he passed, man, I just was like, man, how can I continue to kind of not carry his legacy, but just how do I continue to dive into the women's game and have some energy in that space? And so, I spent time. I started working with Jewel Lloyd. I would work with Breonna Stewart in the off seasons after the Lakers seasons were done. The last 4 or 5 years, I would go to Seattle and I would do consulting with the Seattle Storm. So I would spend time with their team and their coaches and training their ladies. And I really became more intrigued with the W of just the lack of attention, the lack of resources. P, you remember we went to the bubble? I think the biggest thing that I learned about when the W went to the bubble, their bubble was completely different than ours, right? The resources, the things that they had. And I was just like, I remember I put together a care package to send to some of the ladies that were in the bubble because they just didn't have the stuff that we had in Florida. And so I've always kind of had conversations with young ladies in the W, and just their fight has always been, we want the respect. We want to be paid properly. We want the resources. That has kind of been their fight. And the W now is shifting, it's changing. And so I was always kind of an advocate for the women's game of just really showing respect. I think the average basketball person would know that that these ladies can hoop. The normal people, the people that really don't watch basketball, man, I'm never going to watch women's basketball, but they don't understand that these ladies are fundamental. They're skilled. They have IQ. They're tough. They're physical. They're competitors, just like the men are. And I just became really enamored at their approach, man. They're coachable. They want the training and the coaching that we have in the NBA, and they want to be treated like they're athletes. So that whole thing of just over the years was, man, training with Juju, spending a lot of time with Juju and training with some of these other young ladies. And I just really, really fell in love with just that part of the game. They're hoopers. They are hoopers and they are athletes. And so when I took the year off this year from coaching in the NBA, Unrivaled, the whole management, they reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to be a part of it. And to be honest, P, I had no clue what Unrivaled was. I knew nothing about it. I knew that Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier and some of the other ladies wanted to start their own league, but I had no knowledge of what Unrivaled was. And originally I was just kind of like, I don't think that's for me. But then my business manager, she did some research on it. And she said, Pete, you really need to look at this. And what I learned, man, listen, they have spared no expense in putting this league together. So it's 6 teams, 36 of the top WNBA players, 6 ladies on each team. It's 3-on-3 full court. It's a modified full court. And so everything is based in Miami. We don't have to travel. Every team is Miami. It's a 10-week league. We play 14 games. It's very short commitment. We play only on the weekends. And Unrivaled, man, they have spared no expense in terms of what they're doing for these ladies. The salaries, the facilities, they are building an arena right now. We have an arena in Miami. We have a practice facility in Miami. Everything they're doing is first class. The arena is very intimate, seats about 900 people, but they've already sold out for every game.
Wow.
And so what they've done, man, is most people that don't really know about the W, when the WNBA season finishes, right, these young ladies, I don't want to misquote, but their average salary, somewhere 200K, somewhere in there. These ladies finish, basically, they finish the WNBA season. A lot of them have to go overseas and play just to supplement their income, right, to take care of their families. So what Unrivaled did is, look, we're going to create this league 10 weeks. We're going to pay these ladies 6 figures in 10 weeks, and they don't have to go overseas. They can stay here. They can get training. They can be on the U.S. soil, and they still have an opportunity to play high-level basketball without having to cross the waters and being away from their family. So I believe, man, what they've done is created a win-win for the WNBA to have their top talent be able to stay in the U.S., They get training. They get training for 10 weeks, and they still play in a competitive environment in a 3-on-3 setting that does not compete with the WNBA. It's phenomenal, man, what they're doing, and I'm actually honored and excited about being part of the groundbreaking and the first season that they're putting together for these women.
That's awesome, right there. Shout out Breanna. Shout out Nafisa. We had Nafisa on a couple episodes ago, and she kind of broke down this idea. She went into detail, but you took it further with everything else surrounding it. And it sounds amazing. We're 100% going to support that, man. That is dope. That is women empowerment right there. That is something that they can call their very own. And I think I love the most. You hear about the stories of them having to spend away and go. Because my sister played 1 year after college and she had to go overseas. And, I just remember she was crying and she was, just unhappy. And, it was really a piece of her that was taken away by having to go overseas and play basketball. And so, I can definitely feel for, women having to go through that just to make ends meet and being away from their family and having to play basketball year round just to support themselves,
TNT is televising every game. Like, this is, they
so
are
this is mega TV right here.
They, like I said, man, they went. They have put both feet forward in this thing, say, listen, we're going to do it. Then we have to do it right. And look, obviously it's the first year, they'll learn from the beginning mistakes of just how to run, just the things of what to do and what not to do. But, I'm excited about it, man. It's a great change of pace for me and a great challenge. And just the timing of it, man, it couldn't have been any better.
AOG, I'm happy you brought up the late great Kobe, because that's where I wanted to gear this next question in this segment, your Lakers time. I wanted to ask about, you joining that Lakers team in 2011. We had B. Shaw, who's been a friend of our show and somebody that I'm close to and look up to. He gave you the words, "Do not let Kobe punk you." And now, hindsight, this is your first time being around the Lakers. Not sure if this was your first time meeting or, having a chance to meet Kobe at this particular moment, but you joining the Lakers. Talk to us a little bit about that experience and ultimately what led you to taking that job with the Lakers.
Man, P, I was in the private sector. I started my training business, 94 feet a game. I started that in 1999. And that was at the tail end of my playing career. So my last 3 years of playing, I spent my last 3 years playing in Australia, in the Pro League in Australia. And then on my off days, I started training little kids. So as a player, I would have my off days and I would get in the gym twice a week with some young little kids from Australia. And I fell in love with it, man. Like working with them and watching them get better. It was something I loved. So when I retired in 2003, I kind of went right into doing skill development. Back then, there wasn't even a term. I started my training business and went into it full time. And back then, the training industry is nothing like what it looks like now. There was no such thing. There was no such thing as a basketball training industry. So I just was in the gym every day, P. I was working with young kids. I was working with NBA players. I was working with anybody that wanted to get in the gym in the Bay Area. I would be in the gym with them. And I went through that business for all of those years, man. And I really grew. I built a phenomenal business, and it became global. I started doing international stuff. I was doing camps. I was doing clinics. I was working with national teams. I had a bunch of NBA guys that I worked with on a regular basis in the off season. And so when the opportunity came for me to work with Mike Brown in 2011, I wasn't really sold. I had no desire to be an NBA coach. I ain't even lie to you. Mm-hmm. Being an NBA coach was not even on my radar. That wasn't something I wanted to do. But I did have a mindset of when I started the training business, I wanted to be able to impact the game of basketball and just kind of help people train different. Because back then, Pete, when I was playing, we didn't have player development coaches. I had to ask my coaches after practice, "Hey, coach, you get some extra shots with me?" And there was no player development coaches. You either worked on your own or you asked one of your coaches to come early or stay late. Mm-hmm. And so that's how it went. We had to figure it out on our own. And so when I retired, I was just like, man, how can I help young athletes, one, understand how to work on the game and become better at their craft, but at the same time, build their confidence and enjoy the process of working on your game. And that whole journey, man, led me to 2011. And I always said, Pete, when I first started, I want to be one of the best trainers in the world. That was my whole mantra. I wanted to be one of the best trainers in the world. And I got to that point in 2011. The Lakers, Mike Brown didn't know me. He knew Randy Bennett, which was the head coach of St. Mary's College in the Bay Area. Him and Randy were roommates in college. And I had trained Randy's team for a long time. So Patty Mills, Matthew Dellavedova, they were all playing at St. Mary's. And Randy was like, listen, Mike Brown is about to become the head coach of the Lakers. You need to be coaching in the NBA. And I was like, Coach, I'm cool, man. My business is good. I work when I want, travel when I want. But the thing that really stopped me and stopped me in my tracks was, well, I had wrote on a piece of paper years ago, I want to be one of the best trainers in the world. In order to do that, you have to work with the best players in the world. And so that motivation was, well, damn, here's a chance, man. Kobe Bryant is in LA. Man, you better take this job. And really, for me, it became the challenge, P, of can I earn his respect as a trainer? The things that I do and the things that I teach, will it quantify and will it resonate with one of the best players to ever play the game? Mm-hmm. And so that was the challenge. That was really the baseline of why I said, you know what? Yes, I'm interested. Give me an opportunity. And Mike Brown hired me. And the first day on the job, he just told me, he said, listen, I don't care what you do. I don't care how you do it. Just make sure all these dudes are working. And at the time, the Lakers hadn't really had, quote unquote, a player development coach before. So I was kind of like their first, me and Darvin Ham, we were kind of like their first true. I know Craig Hodges was like a shooting coach for them, but we were like their first true full-time player development coaches in 2011. And that whole opportunity, man, was just built around, can I build a relationship with Kobe? And, here we are 13 years later. But that part of it, I had to figure out a way to build a relationship with him. I had to figure out a way to earn his trust. And the advice that B. Shaw gave me about not letting him punk me, man, that resonated with me because Kobe was a dude that would test people. He would just test you just to see if you would stand up for yourself in any kind of fashion. And so when I got hired, man, he would come out of the locker room because obviously, he'd be there early. He would be in at 5 a.m. He had got his work in. I would start working out with guys at 8 o'clock. We practice at 10. He would stick his head out of the training room and watch for like a minute, and then he would go back in. And he did this for like a week straight before. And then finally one day, I was out there on the court. He just walked out of the training room and jumped in the drills. And he literally, he stayed, I was like, okay, all right, well, let me make sure I got my shit right.
Yeah.
He jumped in the drills and, I was showing stuff and he was in cold fashion. He was like, okay. He would go through the drills. So he stayed out there with us for about 15 minutes, broke a sweat, and then he left and went back in the training room. Maybe a few days later, man, he shot me a text and said, hey, meet me at the gym at 5 o'clock. And that's how our relationship started. Wow. From that, just what I really took from it, Pete, is one, I think he respected my work ethic. I was always there early. I always stayed late. I was always on the court with whoever wanted to be on the floor. And he respected my work ethic as a rookie coach. He saw what I was doing. He saw that I understood the nuances of what I was teaching. And I think our first workout, Kobe, he was a dude that really knew what he wanted, right? He was 17 years in. He was already Kobe Bryant. Man, my very first question to him was, man, look, how can I help you get better? Where can I help you? What things you want to work on? Yeah, and he was very precise. I want to continue to get better with my ball handling. I want to keep sharp with my footwork and continue to work on my separation on my jumper. And he knew what he wanted. And so that made it a whole lot easier for me to really try to dive in and just collaborate with him in terms of just helping him continue to be who he was, man.
Did you kind of have like a preset idea of going into the situation of like, all right, obviously we know Kobe is well-rounded and can do every and anything on the court, but did you kind of have taken that job, have a kind of preset idea of like, all right, if I get Kobe in a training setting, this is what I want to work on with Kobe? Or was it, just kind of, was it the direction you needed? Was Kobe telling exactly what I need? And then now you got your wheel spinning to kind of deliver to him?
Well, when I knew that I had the opportunity to get the job, I did my own research on the whole team. I had made my own mock-ups on every player of just what I saw, their strengths, their weaknesses, and just areas that if I had a chance to work with them, what would I do? And the biggest thing I saw with Kobe was he was such a vertical player. Kobe was one of the people like you guys are very vertical, right? But you're able to use your verticality to get people off balance and drop down into a low stance. And one of the things I told to him when I first started working with was like, Kobe, you're so vertical and you're long. I want to help you condense your handle and become a little tighter and use the width of your body to become sharper with your handle. And I remember the first time I said that to him, he was just looking at me like, mofo, what does that even mean?
Right.
And so I had already done my research with video and film. So I showed him a couple things and he was like, okay, that makes sense. And just, that was really the only thing for him, because he was so, like, I thought I was good at footwork. Man, that was a whole nother master class when I was working with him. And just as I always tell people all the time, man, as coaches, it's not just us teaching as players, man. You guys teach me. I learned so much from all of you guys in the sense of just understanding. You already kind of know your nuances. So let me learn from you the things that you do well to where I can help accentuate your game. And man, he was gracious. I asked a lot of questions. He asked questions and I asked a lot of questions in the sense of just, Cole, why do you do this? Because P, he would get in his workouts and he would stay in one spot for 45 minutes. Like, P, just imagine you go to your
moves
workout.
After moves, huh?
And you go to the left block, P, and you're just there for 45 minutes and you just repping out a turnaround jump shot for 45 minutes and in a full sweat.
Mm-hmm.
I never trained like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, man, the mental capacity that you have to have for that is people don't understand that. And he would be in a full on sweat after that 45 minutes of just being in one spot.
Mm-hmm. That's comparable with Kawhi, man. That's why when I seen Kawhi work, like, I've never got the chance to work with Cole, but working out with Kawhi on a one-on-one setting, and it was this, like, I get what people say about Cole. Like, I've never trained like this. Kawhi would go to one spot, 25 makes. I'm thinking, all right, cool, we're gonna go to the other side. No, it's a different move. It's a counter, P.
You sound just like him. You sound just
what
like
you gonna
him.
do if they do this then? So it's 25 makes another move, and then it's a counter off that. And I'm like, damn, like, I've never trained like this. Like, this is like, I get why you're special and you can get to your spots and you're a rep guy and I get it. So I can only imagine what it was like with Cole, man.
And P, he would be
That's
like,
impressive. As
a coach, you had to be in shape to work out with him because he would beat you. He would beat you up. Like it was full on like, yeah, nah, mofo, don't get tired. Don't get tired now. Like,
oh my God.
He wanted to feel the contact. He wanted to feel your body. He wanted to feel to where he can really work on his counters in an instinctual manner. And it was a masterclass for me. Like I said, because to that point, I had never trained like that either. And so he was, some days he was like, all right, P, I need to do this. And then some days he was like, boom, I'm not moving from this spot. So he was one of those dudes where he kind of knew what he wanted. Some days he wanted a little bit more freedom. And then other days he was just like, nah, I need to be right here. I'm not moving. I need to mat. And the first time I asked him, I was like, explain that to me, Cole. Like, and so his response was, man, listen, I want to be able to get to this spot on the floor. And that doesn't matter who's guarding me, how many defenders. If I get to this spot, it's a bucket. I wanted to feel like the fabric of my skin to where I can close my eyes on this spot on the floor and make this shot because I repped it out so many times and I know what it feels like. And it made sense. It made sense, man.
That's impressive, man. That mindset is impressive.
Well, I want to know, you mentioned that you would ask questions, he would ask questions, and I could imagine, like you said, you want to be one of the best coaches or trainers ever, and you get this opportunity to go work with Kobe. I want to know like a detailed time of something you did learn. And then simultaneously, I'm curious if there was ever a time where your training philosophy didn't line up with Kobe's? And was there ever any of this with philosophy? Because I could imagine you coaching for so long, Kobe being who he was there anything that he was just like, Phil, you're wrong on this one. This is how you do it. I want to know what that was and how that conversation went.
Man, dude, that's a great question. So the first thing I learned from him, we were working on some post-ups. He was working on the left block, and he caught the ball one time, and he kicked my feet. Like, Pete, just imagine you're on the left block, and your defender's behind you, and you catch the ball, and he took his left foot, his inside foot to the post, and he kicked my foot out. He kicked my foot out of the way, and I lost my balance.
Yeah.
And as he kicked my foot, he planted and he turned and shot a fadeaway. And I was like, yo, bro, I was like, what are you doing? He was like, yeah, mofo, you can't contest. and when I say he had so many tricks, like he literally kicked my foot out the way and I was off balance and he spun. I was just like, yo, you got to teach me that one. You got to teach, you have to teach me that. And it was like, that was one of the first things that I learned. I was like, oh, this is next level. And then there was one day when we were doing some ball handling and I wanted him to do 2 ball handling. And he was like, man, get out of here. I'm not doing that. He was like, I don't dribble with 2 balls in the game. What is this for? And he challenged me. He was like, man, I'm not doing it. I said, Cole, this is really good. Man, I don't want to hear it. You want me to work on my left hand? I'll work on my left hand. You want me to work? And he was adamant. He was like, we don't play the game with 2 balls. I'm not dribbling with 2 basketballs. I was like, all right. And so, you know what he did? He said, all right, mofo, give me the bat. He took both the basketballs, closed his eyes, and started dribbling with his eyes closed. I was like,
hey, stubborn dude, man.
Hey, listen, he was not trying to hear it with the 2 ball handling.
Oh
man, that's funny. Cold, man.
Phil, I need you to keep it real, man. You've been doing so good, keeping it real with all these good stories, but I need you to keep it real for the people because back then, LA at the time, we had got Dwight Howard. We thought we was the shit when we was getting him. So I need you to keep it real with me right now. Tell me a little information on what went wrong with Steve Nash and the Dwight era in the 212, man. Please talk to me.
Oh, man, bro. When we had those trades that offseason, I was like, man, we going to the finals. Bro, I was like, we got Steve Nash. We got Dwight Howard coming. Man, we going to the finals. Look, Paul will tell you, sometimes, man, when you have a lot of talent on a roster, that doesn't equate to winning. The pieces have to fit for one. The second piece to it is health. You have to be healthy. And when Steve came to us, man, unfortunately, he was healthy. And then when the season started, man, he had a sciatic nerve issue that was in his, like running down his back and he could not play. I felt so bad for him, man, because he tried it, but the nerve kept him out for damn near the whole season. So we didn't have Steve. And then the whole dynamic of, Dwight's a Hall of Famer. I don't care what nobody say. Dwight is a Hall of Famer. So he was in his pond in Orlando, right? You always say the NBA, the markets are different. Orlando's a small pond, even though Dwight was a big fish. He comes from Orlando and he comes to Los Angeles, which is a big pond, and there's already a big fish in that pond. Dwight, man, was always been a guy that really cared about how people perceived him, how he was perceived, and how people brought him in. And I think LA was just such a big place in the bright lights. It wasn't too bright for him, but when him and Kobe got together, man, their relationship I want to say it wasn't rocky, but they were 2 different players. And Kobe is who he was. And if you played with him, you understood who he was as a teammate. Kobe was super demanding. And so if you're the A personality and you come to another team and sometimes there's another A personality and that A personality might be a little bit more vocal or have a little bit more of a cutthroat attitude or mentality, it could be tough, man. It could be a tough. And so the adjustment of Dwight coming from Orlando to LA and having to deal with another superstar, sometimes those things, man, they don't always mesh. And people don't really understand that. People just think, oh, Dwight, Kobe, Steve Nash, Pau Gasol, man, they should all be able to play well together. And it just don't always work out like that. Sometimes people just don't fit. And that's all it really boils down to. Sometimes people just don't fit on a team and it just doesn't work. And it didn't help that Steve Nash was not healthy that year.
Man, I remember that year, boy. Oh,
man.
And then
hey, Jackie, man, I was excited too, bro. Like we got Steve. Come on, right. Man. You know, that was supposed to take pressure off of Kobe, and so we got a floor general that can run our team and make shots and break down defenses and pick and roll. I felt bad for Steve, man, because he was really excited to be there, but he just, his that injury, man, really tore down the fabric of our team.
Yeah, I know I was happy sitting in Indiana. Getting the white ass up out of the East. Yeah, I was happy. Get your ass on.
Get your ass on. Big buff motherfucker. Big buff motherfucker.
Yo, listen, one thing about Dwight gonna be in shape. I don't care what nobody say. He gonna be in shape, bro.
Do you think Dwight could play right now? Because I always hear him.
Absolutely.
Yes. He's pitching himself to go get a job to Jeannie Buss. Do you think he could play right now?
Yes.
In the NBA? I'm pretty sure he could. Yeah, for sure. Limited minutes, Dwight could be a great role player, man.
Okay.
Limited minutes. Yeah, for sure. He could be a contributor on any team because he just, like Pete said, man,
and you know what? You want him come playoff time. You want him on your team come playoff time.
And he got good feet. He just won the Dancing with the Stars or something, man. Come on, man. He got good feet. He got good positioning. Ain't good. He there. Come on, man.
You're silly, Jack.
You better use that talent.
You know that feeling when you find a new show to binge or a song you want to bump on repeat, like our friend Jackie here with that new Kendrick? You got to share it with your friends and put them on too. And with Mint Mobile, you can do just that. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan.
That's right. When Mint Mobile say $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, oh, man, they mean it. Fellas, should we bring back the flip phone or what?
Mm-hmm. You think it's too late? You think that era is over with?
Heck no, man. Everything coming back.
I think I can.
I think I'm loyal to that iPhone. I don't think I can break away from the iPhone again. It's too much going on.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
But if you got a business or something, you can have that little phone. That's the little old school flippy or something. You can have that. Had the old and the new. Come on now.
It's got a built-in privacy to it with the flip phone.
Say bye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts.
To get this new customer offer in your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/PodP. That's mintmobile.com/PodP. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/PodP.
$45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigs on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
We are back for another week with our sponsor, MetaQuest. Today, we've got an experience on Quest that's close to our own hearts. Watching the NBA with X Stadium.
X Stadium is a revolutionary VR sports experience that lets you sit courtside at games from the comfort of your own home. In addition to the NBA, X Stadium also has content from the UFC, the NHL, NASCAR, and the X Games.
All I can say is the best thing invented. I don't even got to deal with driving in traffic or doing nothing. And I don't got to pay for them expensive ass seats no more because I got it right there.
A lot more affordable.
Man, it's so easy. I had snacks, popcorn, the same thing that they got at the game. I had right on my couch, but it felt like I was right there, man. I felt. Did y'all see the UFC fights?
That's what I was just about to say. That's what's crazy to me. Being front row and center to a UFC match, it's like you right there, right outside the cage. I'm sitting next to DC calling a fight.
Come on, man. Sweat got in my eye. still in there from last week, man.
I think it's crazy. I was watching the game, P, and the coach was right next to me. So I saw him talking to you guys, drawing up some plays, and it was crazy.
This was dope.
Did you feel like you was in the game?
It felt like I was at the game. It didn't feel like I was in the game, but it felt like I was at the game for sure.
In the UFC, I felt like I was a referee. I almost counted one of the dudes out a couple of times, but it didn't even work. I was like, damn, that wasn't really me. But yep, I felt like I was there, man.
Yeah, it's just the uniqueness I think you get because it's a different angle that you don't necessarily get when you watch it on TV. So it's awesome to try this experience out. If you guys want to try this out as well, head to meta.com/quest to check out X Stadium and see everything that's possible on MetaQuest. The holiday season is in full effect, and my family's favorite place to eat good is Buffalo Wild Wings.
Go get into that holiday spirit because right now at B-Dubs, you can order 2 entrees, 2 sides, and 2 drinks for only $19.99. I would jump on that deal while you can.
I know I will, Dallas. Look, you can also pick from 6 traditional wings, 10 boneless wings, my personal favorite, an all-American cheeseburger, a classic chicken sandwich, or 300 breaded chicken tenders if you want to keep it classy.
And don't forget, guys, you get to pair that up with 2 sides, whether you want fries, tots, wedges, and don't forget 2 ice cold drinks to wash it all down. So, fellas, I know that's a lot of options I just threw at you guys. But what are you choosing? Pick 1 entree and 1 side.
Let me go with some tenders and tots. Tenders and tots. I'm going to keep it classy. Like you said, Bunky, and I'm going to go tenders and tots.
I'm going to go ahead and go with the chicken sandwich this time because that chicken sandwich been real good to me lately. And I'm going to go ahead and go with the tots as well.
It's called Buffalo Wild Wings, so I'm going to go with 6 traditional wings and keep it simple with the fries. And you can watch all the games at Buffalo Wild Wings with their wall-to-wall TV so you can keep up with this football season.
So grab a friend or your little boo and head to Buffalo Wild Wings for game day to get 2 entrees, 2 sides, and 2 drinks for only $19.99. Get it before it's gone.
Bill, going back to Kobe just for 1 second, I had read, and you mentioned Kyrie already, who I think a lot of people have just compared their work ethics, mindset, and just their skill levels. But I had heard you were instrumental in linking those 2 together. And I'd like to know a little bit about that situation. And is it true? I also read that Kyrie ghosted you after like the first workout or something along those lines. If you could share with us exactly what happened.
Yeah, man. After my second year with the Lakers, Mike Brown, they let him go, and then the Cleveland they hired Mike again, and so Mike he really liked my work ethic. So when he got hired by Cleveland, he called me right away and said, "Phil, I want to offer you a job, man. I want you to come to Cleveland. I got a young player down here that we need to really, really put some attention around." And when he hired me, I got to Cleveland. Mind you, Byron Scott had just gotten fired. And this is Kyrie's 3rd year in the league, going into his 3rd year. So when I got to Cleveland, and if you don't know Kyrie, he'll tell you, Kai is one of them dudes, if he don't know you, he not fooling with you. He not fucking with you. It's just not super tight. So he didn't know me. He didn't know me from Adam. And when I got to Cleveland, I remember one of the first days I called him and said, "Hey man, we need to get in the gym." And so he came in, we did a workout. And then he was like, "Coach, I'm out, man. I'm going to Miami. I'm gonna be gone for a little bit." So he left, he went to Miami. I said, "All right, young fella, let's just keep in touch, man. How long you gonna be gone? I want to start building this relationship." And so he gave me like the super bat phone. The bat phone that he don't even take out the bottom of his backpack.
He gives you like that,
the super bat phone, the bat phone that he don't even charge. It don't even get charged up. So he gave me the number, and I'm texting him. I'm calling him. Like, I wasn't blowing him up, but I would hit him, and then he wouldn't respond. So finally, one time after I hit him, and it was like 4 days. He must have turned the phone on. He hit me back. He's like, "Yeah, coach, I'm good." And then he must have turned the phone off. It was like another 3 days. I would hit him and nothing. So like my first 10 days in Cleveland, I had like 1 text with him. And so I went to Mike Brown. I was like, "Yo, I have to get on a plane and go to Miami. One thing about me, y'all learn, I'm no nonsense when it comes to the game. I'm a respect dude, and this is what's made me successful as a coach in the league is I give respect, but I demand it back. And so I told Mike, I said, listen, I'm going to have to go to Miami and have a sit down with this dude face to face. So I text Kyrie. I don't know if you're going to guess it, young fella. I'm coming to Miami. We need to sit down and have a man to man. And he crazy enough, he texted me right back.
Responded right away, huh?
Right. He responded right. He was like, yeah, coach, let me know when you're coming. So when I got to Miami, we sat down. Yeah, he invited me to his condo. And we went out on the balcony and we sat out there for 2 hours. And I had to really have a conversation with him just about who I was as a coach and what I expected from him as a player. And just like, listen, young fella, I don't need nothing from you. I don't want nothing from you except for you to be the best basketball player that you can be. That's why I'm here. And after we had that conversation, he opened up. He said, Coach, I just don't trust people in this industry, man. I don't trust people. You know, people have told me a lot of different things and it's just, it never holds up to be true. He said, so, you know, I don't know you. And I was like, you know what, young fella, fair enough. I said, what we're going to do from this point forward is I'm going to treat you like a man and you're going to treat me like a man. And let's just start with that. And the very next day we started our work. And that was how our relationship really started. And after about a week, Kyrie was just one of those dudes. He was like, oh, gee, man, I just want to hoop. It was a fight getting him in the gym. Once I got him there, he worked, but he just wanted to play ones and he wanted to hoop. He didn't really like working on his game. So I called Kobe and said, hey, listen, man, I need your help with this young kid, man. He respects the hell out of you. He loves you. And Kobe was like, man, shoot, I love that kid's game. I love his game. I was like, well, Kobe, can I connect you guys? Can he call? He was like, man, give him my number. Tell him to call me anytime. And so I passed it on to Kai. I need you to reach out to Kobe. He wants to connect with you and build a relationship. And Kobe was just instrumental in just telling him, like, young fella, you here's what you have to do. You got to work on your game. You got to pick your spots. And that really, when he started that rapport with Kobe, the floodgates just opened up. His mind changed, his approach changed, and Kobe just really took him in, right? They created a great relationship, and I was forever grateful that Kobe was willing to take him under his wing and just share with him. And Kai was full of questions. And how do you do this? You know, what about this? And what about this? And so that part of it was just a big part of Kyrie's maturation, right? Just understanding how important it is to get in the lab, man, and really fine tune your skill and work on your craft. And now, you know, like that whole process of the first year, man, Kyrie just really changed as a player. His work habits changed, and you just see, you know, I mean, it is what it is, man.
Was you there that day when Kyrie told Kobe he could beat him one-on-one?
No, I wasn't there. That was for USA basketball.
Team USA, right?
That was
Team USA.
That was the summer. That was the summer before that, right? And so Cole was like, "Man, this young kid got some guts, man. I rock with him. I rock with him for really stepping into the fold like that." And I just think Cole just really respected his skill set. He had a huge respect for his skill set and the way he played.
He had to respect him after that.
Yeah, it makes sense because, you know, obviously when I was in Indiana, Kai was at Cleveland early in his career. And obviously Kai was Kai. He was, you know, he was gifted. He was, you know, a scorer. But, you know, I thought his game went to another level. Obviously, when Bron went there, I think Bron kind of has something to do with it. But he went to a whole nother level. Before it was like Kai was just like an open canvas, right? Like, you know, Kai is going to try to get to his spots. He's going, you know, playing pick and rolls. He's going to come in transition. He's like, we kind of knew what to expect. But then he took on well, damn, now he's posting up. Now he's, you know, now he's getting to us. He knows what spots he wants to get to. And he has counters, and his footwork went to another level. And his finishing, he was always crafty, but it was just, he unlocked a whole nother part of his game. You being there in that 2016 year, that run, obviously LeBron with the block, Kai with the shot over Steph Curry. Talk to us a little bit about, from your perspective of being down 3-1 in the finals and what that locker room was like, what that environment was like, and ultimately, what led to y'all coming back into that series?
Man, P, it was a lot of things, man. It's never just one thing. You played for T. Lue for a long time. You know how T. Lue is, man. His demeanor, how he carries himself, his preparation. You're going to be prepared playing for T. Lue. Like he doesn't, he's not a yeller and a screamer, but he's a player's coach. After game 2, we were in Golden State. And like I said, man, me personally, being from the Bay Area, I'm from the Bay, my family and friends are in the stand. Man, they were kicking our ass. If you go back and watch the film, Draymond was in front of our bench just talking noise. He was clowning. They were taunting our bench. Clay was in front of our bench. And I'm sitting behind the bench during the game, and I'm fuming. I'm like, I'm fuming. I'm going crazy. I'm cussing at Draymond in the second row, like, nah. So when the game ended, we were walking off the floor, and I asked T. Lue, I said, Coach, you mind if I say something to the team? I can't handle this. So we get in the locker room. T. Lue was like, yeah, man, say what you need to say. Man, when I tell y'all I blacked out, I blacked out. Listen, somebody
what was
told
said?
Me, man, P, listen, somebody told me, they was like, yo, our owners were in the locker room. Somebody was like, yo, bro, you was it is. Motherfucker, bro. P, I was just so mad. Like, yo, man, we are in the NBA finals. These dudes are kicking our ass. They talking shit in front of our bench. They clowning us. They punking us. Like, no, there's no way. We're not built like that. And I just really wanted to just infuse the team in the sense of, come on, man, we got to compete, man. We can't let these dudes, there's no way we can let these dudes punk us like this. And I had a moment, man. I blacked out. It was pretty, they said I was in players' faces and all kinds. And so, we went back to Cleveland, man, and the fellas, they responded. I'm not saying they responded to that, but they responded to just competing. And, we won game 3. We ended up losing game 4. And we get into the locker room, and T. Lue was so calm. And him and Bron, they were super calm. You usually down 3-1, P, people think it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world, but you still are like, man, damn, these fools got us down 3.
You feel that weight, that pressure.
You feel it. Man,
mm-hmm.
T. Lue was like, hey, bring it in. He was, I'm going to tell y'all like this. If you don't think we can win game 5, don't get on the plane. And Bron was like, hell yeah. And that was it. Brought it in. Cats went their way. We get on that plane. And man, that game 5, bro, that's probably one of the most historic.
Ooh, oh, man, my God.
Listen, watching Kyrie and Bron, people can say whatever they want. Draymond was out. I don't care. We still had to win the game. Them cats still had to compete and perform. Man, that's probably one of the most epic duo performances I've ever seen in my life. Them cats went to work, and it was like all they said was, we win game 5, we get back to Cleveland, it's over. And our fans, when we got back to Cleveland, boy, the energy that them, and people tell you, Cleveland fans in the playoffs, it's ruckus in there.
Yeah.
Especially during LeBron eras, it's ruckus in there, dog. And that fan base, game 6, from tip off, it was like Golden State had no chance. And you get to that point in the playoffs, it's just like game 7. It's just like, okay, we here. Anybody's game. It don't matter.
Anybody's game. Mm-hmm.
Brand new series. Let's just go lay it on the line. But the thing I loved about it, man, was T. Lue. His demeanor never changed. He was just calm, and we were prepared, man. It was a great, again, a masterclass for me of understanding head coaching mentality.
Could you sense after y'all winning and going back to Golden State for game 7, could y'all sense that, all right, the momentum it's in our favor now? Like this obviously you got to go beat them, but this is ours to win it at this point.
Yeah, because you know what happened, Pete, the players, you know how it go, Pete, believe, right? The belief in it.
Believeland. Yep.
Bro, just like everybody was bought in. everyone from LeBron on down to our last player on the bench. And everybody was so locked in. It was just like, fellas, man, it's one game, 48 minutes, and we already know we can beat them on their home court. And it was just like, just bring your hard hat. And here's another thing. Game 5, T. Lue had put some money in the locker room, in the ceiling. I forgot how much it was. But
somebody told us that story, didn't they?
He put it up in the locker room. You remember that old locker room in the Coliseum, P?
Yep.
He put it up in there. He said, well, yo, we coming back here to get this money for game 7. And it was just like after we won the finals and we was in there celebrating. He was like, hey, y'all thought I forgot, man? We got this money up here in the ceiling.
That's awesome.
Get that money.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
But we was in there celebrating. Man.
That's awesome. And I know that had to feel extra good because you win it back at the crib.
Man,
I know it had to feel extra good.
You know, it was one thing for Bron, right, coming back to Cleveland and the weight of that for him. But just for me as a young kid or being from the Bay Area, man, you know, I didn't play in the NBA. I had a short stint. I had a couple tryouts and some short stints in the NBA. But to be able to win a championship as an NBA coach in my hometown, it was unbelievable. That's been the pinnacle of my career. You know, I've had an opportunity to win others, but that championship, man, was super special, especially coming back from 3-1, being down 3-1.
I want to talk about that during that Kyrie and Bron era. That, you know, watching from the outside, Phil, it's always with speculation that they had tension with each other. So since you was there, I want to know, was there anything you noticed between them during that time?
Yeah, no tensions. Kyrie will openly tell you he was just a young cat, man. He was young. I don't want to say he was immature, but he was a young cat that wanted to run his own ship. And so he got to a point after, I think it was after the 4th year we had been to the finals. You know, Kyrie was kind of like, man, okay, I'm ready to be out from underneath his thumb. I want to do my own thing and just kind of test the waters and see if I can lead my own team. And there was no rift between those two. You know, it just, the way the whole trade scenario came, of course the media is going to, you know, have to say this or they got to speculate on whatever they want to speculate. But Kyrie just, at the end of the day, he just felt like, man, I want my own team. You know, I want to see if I can test the waters and be my own guy. And, you know, I think he's had interviews where he talked about like, man, you know, if I would had to do it over again, I would probably make a different decision because him and Bron, man, they were two different people, but that duo, man, they were dangerous, bro. They were dangerous, man.
How many you think they would have won if they stayed together?
You know, Jay, it's hard to say. Like, man, we had some tough battles with Golden State during that period, but I definitely think they would have put themselves in position to win another title for sure. You know, Golden State was a tough rival for us. It was a nemesis, man, that we fought every year. And then when they went and got KD, you know, when they went and picked up KD as their piece, we needed to pick up one more piece to be able to offset that. But I think they would have had an opportunity to win another championship for sure.
I agree with you.
Phil, you've seen, you know, firsthand some amazing shots during your time being a coach, and Kawhi Leonard's shot being one of them. Can you take us through just that Game 7 buzzer beater and exactly what makes Kawhi so great as a basketball player?
Man, I think the biggest thing, and Kawhi may be mad at me for saying this, but he played injured that whole season. Kawhi was not fully healthy, but he thugged it out, man, and he dominated the league that season, the games that he played. And that game, Philadelphia was the toughest series that we had in the playoffs. Like they had us down 2-1, and we had to go win a game in Philadelphia to right the ship. They could have easily been up 3-1, and that series would have been just a tough series. Like Jimmy and Embiid, man, they were a problem. You know, they were a serious problem, and that was a tough physical. Ben Simmons was at the height of his game. It was a physical, tough series. And it came down to that shot. Kawhi dribbled from the left slot all
wing,
all the way. P, listen, look, anybody that knows and scouts, listen, don't let Kawhi get to his right hand. Mm-hmm. That man went to the furthest part of the court to get to his right hand to hit that fadeaway jumper in the corner. And all I remember is the arena just, to me, it went dark. When he shot the ball just bounced. It just bounced. It was bouncing on the rim. And I just remember the arena going dark and it went quiet. Mm-hmm. And it just seemed like everybody just stopped breathing for that. And then it was just straight pandemonium, man.
I was at that game.
Oh, so you know it, Jay.
I was at that game. I was in the building.
What I'm saying, Jay.
My boy Mo Pete took me to the game, and I swear I'll never forget that day. I was just waiting for you to finish talking so I could say it. I was there. I was definitely at that game.
It looked like it's pandemonium. I mean, some pictures that say 1,000 words, like the photo of him, on the ground, squatting, waiting to see what that ball does. Man. And everybody is like, the suspense around it, like that picture has 1,000 words to it. And you can just feel the emotion after that basket goes in. You can only imagine what that was like being there.
See, I framed that picture. I framed that one. What
are the chances of that happening? You couldn't even make a commercial. I mean, it's almost like a commercial. One of the toughest basketball shots in the corner. It hits like 18 different times. I don't think like you could simulate that another million times and that wouldn't happen. Like it just wouldn't in that manner.
But Dallas, here's the thing. He had Ben Simmons chasing him and Embiid in front of him. It wasn't like it was some small dudes. Like he had two of the biggest players on their team, like that he had to try to get us.
You got to ask your boy Embiid about that one.
he said you got
in a game 7 where you can literally tell that man was gassed in a game 7 series.
He was on the floor, P.
Series.
He was gassed. He was gassed.
P, I don't mean to put you on the spot. You know what that feels like. Mm-hmm. Now, unfortunately, when Dame time ended that series, it's over. There's nothing left to talk about. The series is over.
All right, Phil, it was nice having you, bro.
You
we gotta go.
I got you.
You can't be doing my job, Phil.
Oh, no, man.
I'm joking. I was good.
We messing with it. Hey, we know you from the Bay, Phil. We know you from the Bay.
That wasn't the point. That wasn't the point of it, man. I remember I saw Beat in the hallway after the series. Man, he was distraught, dog. And that's the ups and downs of the sport that we were part of, right? That's 7, man. That is one of the most iconic shots that I've been a part of as a coach. It's a walk off shot. Series over.
Because we was on a plane the other day, and I was talking to Big Fella, and he always, they're because Kyle's on the team as well, and so those two are going back and forth about that series.
That's right. That's right.
And so, and Joel, like, man, that shit still hurts to this day. So I can only imagine. And then to go on and see, Joel is like, obviously we lost, but then to go on to see that Warriors team was banged up and injured. And it was like, man, like, not to say it was a gimme at that point, right, but that wasn't a complete team at that point. So it was almost like, man, if we would have got past Toronto, like that ship was ours. Facts. And so that shot, man, that shot, that's a legacy shot right there. Y'all ended up winning that year, 2019. Then you leave to go to LA for your second stint with the Lakers, that 2020 year. Obviously, it was a disaster. COVID, we lose Kobe. How did you feel that team, what fueled that team, of going in the bubble, coming out of that bubble, winning in the bubble? What fueled that team to kind of come together and like what stood out about, that group, that 2020 year?
That's probably one of the most talented teams I've ever coached. from top to bottom. I'm talking about from Bron on down to the 15th man on the roster. Man, that team, we had everything on that team, P. We had point guards, we had wings, we had bigs, we had everything. And it was a complete roster. JaVale and Dwight were the two, they just made one super big. And the way that they supported each other from game to game, but it was incredible that the support. Rondo, basketball savant, probably the smartest dude that I've ever been around when it comes. Him and Bron, two of the smartest dudes I've ever been around when it comes to just the IQ of the game, of studying the game, seeing the game, understanding what to do with versus your opponent. Rondo was unreal. Just that roster, and then Frank Vogel, Jay Kidd, Lionel Hollins, our whole coaching staff, man. We had a crazy coaching staff, but Frank was, and P, you played for Frank. So Frank, for me, man, he really gave me a master class on defense, like teaching defense and defensive principles. When I was in LA with him, we had the number one defense in the league for 3 years in a row. And it's not a fluke. Like Frank is, in my opinion, man, he's a master. He knows
that defense.
Man, he knows defense. And our team was perfect for his defensive schemes. The way we defended, it was just hard to score against us. We always had bigs at the rim. We had wings that could defend. And so when we, that season, all the things, when we got to the bubble, them dudes were locked in. And I remember one of the conversations they had, listen, people don't really want to be in the bubble. So the team that won, the team that's in the best shape, and the team that's committed to being here the most is most likely going to win a championship. And them dudes were locked in. They went in there on a mission in the sense of, man, we're here for one reason, and we're here to make it to the finals, and we're here to win a championship. Anything else we're doing, it's a waste of time. We got to come to this bubble. This is what we're here for. So our practices, our film session, everything that we did, man, them dudes were locked in. They were completely on the same page. They were together as a unit. Everybody the bubble was what it was, but them dudes were locked in. They played video games together. They did everything together. And just our unit was just, they were cohesive. And there was no issues, man. And we had, AD was coming into his own and really standing next to Bron, man. They were incredible duo, just two dudes that played well together. It was just a perfect storm. We really had the right pieces for that team to compete for a championship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Ironically enough, the two teams in that bubble that you always seen together was Miami and the Lakers. And y'all ended up playing, for the chip in the bubble. So that makes a ton of sense.
I have to bring up our guy, Russell Westbrook, Phil, just because I'm a LA Laker to the day I die, and that's no LIE. And since you coach him in LA, you literally get to see how a lot of NBA players are physically. You get to play with them, coach them. I want to ask you, because we all get to see, Russ, he's at his age, he's a hard worker, he's in shape, he's on the court as a leader and everything. And then some people, talk about his attitude, he got this and that. But you done been there and seen him close up and personal. So I want to ask you, what's something people don't appreciate about Russ?
And Russ is one of the best humans that ever walked this earth. Like in terms of off the court, he is one of the best dudes that you could ever be around. Genuine, down to earth, family dude, like community. That's where I'll start. The other piece is his work ethic. Like on the floor, in the weight room, how he takes care of his body. People don't really get to see that part and understand his commitment. That dude is a professional, and he's been doing what he's been doing for years in terms of taking care of his body and being able to play at a high level. Man, don't run into Russ, because that boy is like a brick wall.
He stay on one.
He's solid. He's a solid
That's
individual.
A linebacker right there.
Man, listen up. That dude is like a freight train. So I have a huge amount of respect for him, man, because look, playing in LA is not easy. And then coming back playing in your hometown is not easy. And then when you're used to being that guy and you have to come in and try to figure out how to play another role that you may not have played your whole career, that's an adjustment. And so I know a lot of people gave Russ a hard time about his time in LA, but man, what I loved about him is his professionalism. He showed up, he was there, he worked on his game. And Russ is one of them dudes as a player and a coach, he's going to challenge you. You know, he's going to challenge you because he knows the game, he understands the game. And again, just like any other player, he's not perfect. He gonna make his mistakes, but what I loved about him, man, is he had a high level of competitiveness to him. And it don't matter. It don't matter. Russ could be 0 for 50. He could be 0 for 50. He's like, man, please, I'm making the next shot. I don't care.
Right.
I'm taking it
right.
and I'm making it. And his swag is not going to change, bro. His swag is not going to change. And that's what makes him who he is, man.
I do see that with him. Even going to some of the games, it can be literally a minute, something left. He's the only one still out there playing hard.
Yeah,
and trying to take the ball and grab it. It's like, Russ, the game over. Y'all getting blown out by 30. What's going on?
Hell, he don't care, bro.
Yeah, Russ is special, man.
He don't care.
He don't care. Like he only has one way, and that's go hard. I love Russ for that. I want to talk about legendary workouts you had, Phil. You had Kawhi, KD, and Bron all in the gym at the same time.
Man.
That's 3 different styles. You know, they play the game differently. They see the game differently. What was the vibe like having those 3 in the gym together?
Man, that was incredible, P. Like, that was my first year coaching in Toronto. And, you know, I had just spent 5 years with Bron. You know, I had really KD was a guy that was developing a relationship, just being around the league. You know, he was always interested in doing some work. And so, you know, everybody was in LA just at the same time. And me and Kawhi were working out. You know, we were preparing to go to Toronto. And Bron was in LA. He was like, you know, man, Phil, let's get some work in. We had still, you know, just fresh off him leaving Cleveland and going to LA. And so we kept in touch. And so it just all lined up. And I set the work up out at UCLA, and then we had the young fella, Jetty Osman. He was like the other piece to the workout. Man, when I tell you, P, we didn't do anything live, but that was probably one of the most competitive workouts I've ever put together in terms of dudes was like, I'm not trying to mess up on the handle. I'm not trying to miss shots. I'm trying to be flawless and clean. But it was so competitive in that workout in the sense everybody was trying to get every rep perfect. They were footwork, handle, balance, jumper, whatever it was we were doing, they were competing at a high level. And it was just the energy, man, was so high in that workout. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable and what the biggest thing I think for Jetty Osman to be able to be part of that workout, he saw 3 of the NBA superstars. Them dudes went hard on every rep. Mm-hmm. They went hard on every rep. It was no fluff. Whatever we were doing in that workout, man, they maximized the time, and all 4 of them dudes got better in that workout. Yeah. And it was just ultra competitive. Without having to do 1-on-1 or 2-on-1, 2-on-2, bro, I've never seen a workout like that where dudes were just like, yeah, go ahead and miss that shot. Yeah, go ahead, dribble off your foot if you want to. It was
right.
It was just super competitive, man, and it was refreshing to see these dudes. They just went hard the whole workout.
Yeah, love that. Then I see you also had J. Cole make an appearance in the gym with you. How did that one come about? Here you got the 3 elite wingmen, and then J. Cole enters the chat. You getting the opportunity to work with Cole in a workout. How did that come about?
Man, Pete, just a mutual friend. You know, I had heard through the grapevine that Jay had really respected the work that I was doing, and he was just like, man, you know, if I get a chance to get in the lab with Coach, man, I'm on it. So I just person that we knew each other, I got his number and I reached out to him and say, man, anytime you're in LA and you want to get in the lab, just it's open. I'm here. So he hit me back. He was like, Coach, bet I'm gonna pull up on you. I'll get back to you on the date. And he came in. You know, I was working with Taylor Horton Tucker that summer, and he came in and he really was curious because Jay was trying to play in the league in Africa, right? He was doing some things with that. They invited him, and he was serious about playing. Like, he was really serious about trying figure out just how to get better at his craft. And so, man, he came into that workout, man, and he was eyes wide open. He was respectful. He was, and he worked, and it was good that he was able to work with Talon. You know, I had worked Talon with a year, so he kind of saw Talon's process of just some of the things we were working on. And he was just like, man, the level of detail that y'all cats are getting into with this work is just, and that was, I think, one of the biggest things that he took away from the workout was just the level of details that you guys put into your work and what you do every day to really just hone in on your craft. And man, he left that workout like, yeah, man, I'm inspired. I want to do more. I want to get better. You know, there's more things that I want to do. And so it was dope, man, to see somebody of his caliber, you know, to humble himself and come into that environment and just be like, yo, I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to be uncomfortable. Let's get to it. Let me see if I can get through this workout.
The messed up part about all this is I never got this offer from you, Phil. And I've been trying to play in the LA Fitness. I've been trying to play in the LA Fitness League forever. And I just need a little bit of basics, you know. That's it. Man.
No shade towards J. Cole. Obviously very cool. He's great at his craft. But like, where would you rank him like on his natural basketball ability? Is he like a high school varsity player? Is he a D1 NAIA? Like, where do you think his level of basketball, where's he at?
Well, back then, I haven't seen Jay. Honestly, I haven't seen him play in a few years. So back then, I would have probably put him at like a D2. He was probably like a D2 low.
That's decent.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, low D1, you know, level. That was then. So I kind of communicated with him over the summer last summer. He was like, "Yo, G, my skills I'm totally different. I can't wait till we get back in the lab so you can see." But he said he's been working, so you know, right now he might be a high D1, man.
Yeah, might be ready.
Mid-major,
He got a little eligibility left.
So, Phil, we have a segment that we use with every guest that we've called Chat PGT. And in this segment, we're going to quiz you and PG on your respective careers and see who gets the correct answer, you or Chat GPT. This week's edition of Chat PGT is sponsored by MetaQuest. Expand your world. Who does Chat GPT thinks wins a matchup between the 2019 Raptors versus the 2020 Lakers? Phil, we're going to have you go first.
I'm going to have to say the Lakers.
Okay. P, who you got?
Man, why? Obviously, that's my guy. I'm going to have to say Lakers, too. Okay. I think the Lakers got just a little bit too much.
Okay. Good answers. Chat GPT's answer is the matchup would likely go 7 games. The 2019 Raptors might edge out the 2020 Lakers due to their superior depth, 3-point shooting, and defensive versatility. However, if LeBron and AD dominate the paint and the Lakers control the pace in transition, they could overwhelm the Raptors. So they didn't really give us an answer right there. little iffy there, Pierce. Next question is, who is the most efficient player Phil Handy has ever coached according to Chat GPT?
Well, according to Chat GPT, they're probably going to say Kobe Bryant. But according to Phil Handy, it would be Kyrie Irving.
All right.
Okay.
Like that.
You want to answer or you want me to just go into it?
Just go into it.
So Chat GPT's answer was career efficiency would have been LeBron James. And then it says single season peak efficiency, Kawhi Leonard 2019 or Anthony Davis 2020 playoffs. That's okay.
Okay, so they're basing that on stats. I'm basing that on efficient. LeBron, no argument there, but he fit. Yeah, that's okay. I see that. Okay, Chad.
Hey, you win some, you lose some, Phil. No biggie. You know. Next, the next question is: of the players Phil Handy has ever coached, what is the best starting 5 according to Chat GPT? This is a good one.
This is a good one.
Wow, my starting 5.
OG,
I already know it.
OG, you can go from point guard to center.
We know who his point guard is.
Well, Kyrie Irving.
And we know who his 2 guard is.
Kobe.
Okay.
I'm going to put Kawhi at the 3, Bron at the 4, and AD at the 5.
Oh, you jackpot.
Hey, you got it. So everything, they actually had LeBron at the 3, Kawhi at the 4, but they're pretty interchangeable. So you got that one.
Oh, that's crazy. I'm coach all them dudes, man. That's crazy. That is nuts.
That only means your ass on your way to the Hall of Fame as well.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that, Pete.
That is a wrap on Chat PGT, presented to you by MetaQuest. Dal, appreciate that. Bunky, what we got this week for the 2-minute report?
Come on, baby. You know I appreciate it, P, as always. This week's edition of the 2-minute report is presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go sports bar. So lastly, Phil, this is the last question of the day, baby Bubba. Now, you've been a part of so many iconic moments. If you had to relive just one, whether it's a game, a championship, or a personal moment, which one would it be and why?
My personal iconic moment was Game 7, 2016, when that buzzer went off. People couldn't even see it, but I sprinted across the floor and I tackled Kyrie. And that was because of 3 years prior to that, the work that me and that young fella put in to kind of help him get to that point of building himself to just not be a great player on a losing team, to not be an all-star, to actually becoming an all-star and becoming an NBA champion. So like that moment when that series was over, man, I sprinted across the floor and I tackled that dude and we rolled around on the ground for a while. And so that's, for me, that's my most iconic moment, being an NBA coach, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's love right there. Hey, well, Phil, man, we don't want to take too much more of your time, man. It's been an honor. It's been a blessing to have you on the show. This was an incredible episode. Appreciate you dropping the gems, reliving the moments, the stories, man, all of it in between, dog. We appreciate you. Appreciate you, family.
Likewise.
Get me ready.
Appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Get me ready for LA Fitness.
There you go.
Get me ready for LA Fitness, Phil. I'm trying to do that Kendrick Perkins.
You gotta get Jackie on a challenge video, Phil. It's gonna be nasty
I want to do
work.
a challenge with you, Phil. Just hit me up, man.